This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 24th day of April in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel today declared that while vending will be allowed along the Georgetown Seawall, lawlessness will not be tolerated, as he reaffirmed that all fixed structures, including containers and sheds, will be removed.
The law is the law, so I'm making it very clear. Vending will continue in the seawall. Lawlessness will not continue. Vending will continue. Lawlessness will not continue. Thank you very much. So let me tell you what is the next step from here. All the permanent structures will be removed. I'm asking you to first of all secure your personal items, because we will remove the permanent structures. Anybody who have a permanent structure, whatever is not mobile is permanent. Once it cannot be moved on wheels. So everybody who have a permanent structure,
my 20-foot container on wheels.
Excuse me, ma'am. Everybody who have a permanent structure and you have an issue, please come into the Ministry of Public Works one by one.
The Public Works Minister clarified that while vending will be permitted, it must be done in keeping with the conditions outlined by the Sea and River Defense Board.
Every person who have received permission from the Sea and River Defense Board to vend on the Kitty Seawall will continue to vend. Any misinformation that the government was removing vendors is a clear mischief making. What we are doing is to ensure that everybody who got a license, your license told you, or your letter of permit told you the conditions under which you must vend. And those conditions must be upheld. And what are those conditions? No permanent structures. Number two, your vending space should be no more than 100 square feet. Number three, you should be 15 feet away from the edge of the road.
The minister also said, contrary to the agreed conditions, many vendors operating between Camp Street and Blessingen Road along the Georgetown Seawall have erected permanent structures in breach of the contract signed onto with the Sea and River Defense Board.
We have removed more than 20 pit latrines from this seawall. Yes, we have. Could I be allowed to finish? Could I be allowed to speak, or should I leave? Secondly, people have gone beyond what their license told them. They're putting on concrete structures, containers on bases. And all we are saying, we want you to vend. You will continue to vend, because every person who wrote the Sea and River Defense Board with an application to vend, that permission was granted to you, and it stated all the conditions. And you said yes to those conditions. So we are simply saying, let's get back to those conditions.
However, some vendors told the Public Works Minister that the conditions outlined in the contract are not fair. But Minister Edgel reminded those vendors that upon signing the contract, they willingly agreed to those conditions.
If you get a permit that says 10 by 10, mobile, you must clean up after, and you don't want that, don't vend. But if you're going to comply with it, stay and vend. It's not two ways about it. You can't take a permit that says temporary, no permanent structure, and then try to gain public sympathy by saying you borrowed $40 million from a bank to put on something. No bank will lend you $40 million on a permit for a temporary structure on a reserve. So we don't know you're trying to appeal for public sentiment.
Okay, sir.
All we need to do is to get in line with what your permit says.
Ahead of the meeting today with the Minister of Public Works, a number of the vendors shared their frustration with the media, accusing the Ministry of Public Works and the Sea and River Defense Board of constantly shifting the goalposts.
This is our livelihood. Most of us are single parents with kids. The minister say that he's not taking bread out of people's mouth. What are we doing to people? We are poor people out there struggling for our daily bread. What they want us to do, they want us to thief, go on the road and pick fare. What they want me to do, we have been pleading for them. What they want, what they can't take bread out of our mouth, put we here where they putting us. What they want we to do, I have been asking that question over and over.
I came in this country, I was deported, I came in. This is the first thing I pick up for the last 10 years. And for now, for us to start over again, for create a new hustle or for be uncomfortable in the situation where I done been here all these years through the rain, wherever this situation may be, even in pandemic. There was few of us who used to be out there every day, come out, sell to the period of time, go back home. To deserve these spots out here, so, or at least have the option or the chance for at least inherit it if it is being, you know what I mean, developed. So
I realize that this country running not by one Guyana, like we have a separate Guyana between Venezuela and all the rest of countries, but not for Guyanese. It is not looking well. And I know for me it is not going to go down well because I'm going to cry every day. And me tears going to move mountain. Because I got me children and grandchildren. And if that's what they want, well, we gonna cry because black people tears don't go in vain.
The demolition and removal of permanent structures, including containers, prefab structures, and sheds, will be done from tomorrow. The Public Works Minister has warned. However, food caravans, in particular those with wheels or axles to facilitate their easy removal, are considered mobile, and those will be allowed to remain on the seawall. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Guyana's landscape is set to immensely transform, with some $221.4 billion earmarked to fast-track the country's infrastructural development. To improve accessibility, $204.1 billion was budgeted for roads and bridges. Some $6.9 billion will be going towards strengthening the country's river and sea defense, $8.1 billion and $2.3 billion for improved river and air transport respectively. These projects are supported by the country's first $1 trillion budget, which was supported by oil revenues.
Linden, it's time for the official Linden Town Week Big People Party. This year, Big Man to a Skylark. Join Go Mosley Entertainment on Thursday the 2nd of May at the Mackenzie Bandstand for 5 big bands, Stitchy, Super Ray, Murphy, the Castro Brothers, and for the first time in Linden, the one-woman band Queen Makiba.
But when I see what I was getting, boy, I start to shiver, cause I know I'm gonna be that get me young boy.
Plus DJ Granny Ivy will be live. Party like never before. It's a one-man band and one-woman band fete for Linden Town Week, Thursday the 2nd of May at the Mackenzie Bandstand. Big Man Tour Skylark. Compliments of GTT, Sheriff Security, 592 Tees, Banks Beer, Guinness, and XM Rums. Drink responsibly for the official Linden Town Week Big People Party. Big Man Tour Skylark.
Love knows no boundaries of time. It transcends the ages, forever etching its mark on our hearts. Super Stylistics, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport and the Government of Guyana, present Timeless Love, the 31st production of the Mother and Daughter Pageant 2024 at the National Cultural Center, a celebration of a unique family bond and flawless, flamboyant fashion. Glitz, glamour, and grand giveaways for lucky patrons too at the 2024 Mother and Daughter Pageant, National Cultural Center, May 11 from 20 hours, preluded by red carpet. Tickets $6, $5, and $5,000. It's Timeless Love.
The Georgetown Hospital is seeking to locate the relatives of a number of patients who have been discharged, but continue to be housed in the wards of the hospital since no one has returned to pick them up. The majority of the patients are elderly persons. In a statement, the Georgetown Hospital said it has observed the trend in the occupancy of bed space within its facilities by persons who have already been discharged after completing treatment. The hospital said over recent months there has been a noticeable increase in the number of patients who continue to remain in the hospital beds due to their families failing to collect them. The GPHC said the issue is impacting the efficient functioning of both the Georgetown Hospital and the Infectious Diseases Hospital at Liliendal, as bed space remains a critical resource for patients in need of medical attention. The continued presence of the abandoned patients has prompted the hospital's administration to take action. The Georgetown Hospital said while it remains committed to providing care to all patients, the prolonged occupation of beds by individuals who are medically fit for discharge is straining the hospital's resources and affecting its ability to accommodate new patients. The hospital's administration is appealing to the families and relatives of the individuals to promptly make arrangements for their loved ones to be uplifted from the hospital. The hospital has released a list of 27 persons who remain housed at the hospital even after their discharge. The youngest person on the list is 21 years old, while the oldest has been listed as 89 years old. The Ministry of Housing and Water, through the Central Housing and Planning Authority, has set out to distribute another 1,000 house lots along the east coast of Demerara. The allottees whose applications have been in the system since 2019 and prior are being allocated lands in Nonpareil and Enterprise on the east coast of Demerara. The areas also include commercial lots, and in the future will see the construction of schools, police stations, and medical facilities, among other amenities. As he addressed many of the allottees today, Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell said today's housing drive is in keeping with the efforts to clear the large backlog of applications in the system.
So today, with the 1,000 lots that are being allocated in Nonpareil and Enterprise Phase 2, this area, as has been reported, began back in December, and it caters for about 3,000 lots. So it's not you alone. And in addition to all the amenities, we have a GWI, through Guyana Water Inc., a treatment facility and a GPL substation that is stationed within this community.
According to the Housing Minister, the Central Housing and Planning Authority has a backlog of over 40,000 applications in its system. He said to address that burning issue, the government has allocated more than 19,000 house lots in Region 4, or 64% of the total allocations made to date since the change in the administration. The government, he said, will continue to invest in the development of lands for housing allocation.
This year, We have about $18.2 billion being spent for infrastructure development, and these includes the areas such as Good Hope, Nonpareil and Enterprise. Various portions, we have various phases and we have various blocks. More than 25 acres of land being catered for 7,582 residential lots. Add to that, for Region 4, we have also begun the construction of over 2,307 houses that are at various stages, which means some have been completed and persons are already living there, some are nearing completion, and some, obviously, construction has now commenced.
And emphasizing that the government is cognizant of the backlog of the applications, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, pleaded with citizens to be patient as the ministry develops housing schemes across the country to address the high demand.
I know that many of you here have waited for a long time to receive your house lots. And we have been insisting that we address the backlog of pending applications in our system at the ministry. So we've been very committed and devoted to that effort, and we've been imploring people to have patience with us and not to feel the need to engage in any illegal activities or any corrupt practices to get your house lots.
Minister Rodriguez said in addition to the 1,000 house lots that were distributed today, persons also received certificates of title, while others received steel and cement vouchers to assist them with the construction of their homes.
Purple Arts Productions presents A Treat for My Mother's 7 on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12. Heard with Marshall and Strings, Barbara Lee, Leona Walton, Young Nelson, and others. Golden Jewelry for the best dressed mother in purple. 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Compliments NDNS Furniture Store, Noodle Cake Creations, Essential Care Pharmacy, Sunflower Jewelry, a Purple Arts Theater production.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Seawall Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
The stage is set for the hosting of this year's Linden Town Week event, which opens this weekend and concludes on the 6th of May. The mining town of Linden, which sells itself as the heart of Guyana, is celebrating its 54th anniversary as a town. And through the Linden Town Week Committee and the Linden Mayor and Town Council, a number of entertainment and educational events and business events will be hosted. Coordinator of the event, Stefan Gabriel, today told news source that over the 11 days of the event, it will cater for families and entertainment seekers.
For Linden Tongue Week this year, there's a wide showcase of the vibrant culture of Linden. Linden is celebrating this year under the theme, "We are one people, one nation, one destiny, Linden, the heart of Guyana." And the main purpose of this year is to ensure that we reinforce the idea that Linden as a business hub, Linden as a cultural hub in this country will be known to the world and will welcome so many people who will want to come and whether do nature hikes, whether they want to come and observe educational activities, or whether they just want to come for the fete. We have everything to offer you, and we have so much more that is in store for you for this week that's coming.
The town of Linden is preparing to welcome thousands of visitors from this weekend. Already hotels in the town have been fully booked out, and persons are being encouraged to create accommodation at their homes with a bed and breakfast services. The Linden Town Week coordinator also reminded that there are business events and other events to encourage investment in Linden that are part of the Town Week celebrations. He said it's not just about entertainment.
So we have several activities that are lined up, and this year the Linden Tongue Week Secretariat has had its special focus more on not having so much of the fete events, but having more of a focus on revitalizing the town, having more young people involved, having more school activities, and having more business activities and opportunities. For example, there's the Linden Symposium that will be happening for the Tongue Week that will have businesses, that will have external visitors that will be coming in that will showcase their businesses, showcase opportunities, and showcase the vibrant possibilities of what is possible if you are to invest in Linden and if you are to even consider coming to Linden to reside, showing you all the opportunities that are there just for you.
Linden Town Week begins on Friday the 26th of April and concludes on the 6th of May. Opposition and PNC reform leader Aubrey Norton is promising to revive the village economies in the hinterland communities and also to introduce new programs which will see increased economic activities in those hinterland communities. Speaking during a recent meeting in Region 1, the opposition leader said should his party be returned to government next year, topping the agenda will be hinterland development. He said although the previous APNU-AFC government had started an initiative to bridge the gap between the hinterland with the coastland, more work is still to be done. Mr. Norton said the current government appears to care for the indigenous communities, but in reality, they are playing lip service to the issues affecting those areas.
There is no sense in talking about you like the indigenous people, you support them, but there is no program to empower them economically. We will have programs to empower all Guyanese, especially the indigenous peoples of Guyana, because we believe it is necessary. Our task, our main policy will be to reduce the gap between the hinterland and the coastland.
The PNC reform leader said the same level of services that are offered on the coastland must also be offered in the hinterland communities. According to the opposition leader, the indigenous communities must not become special just at elections time, but the government must ensure that they benefit equally from the nation's resources.
And so we believe that a hinterland development program is critical. And that program must include the training of teachers, the training of nurses, the training of skilled persons, welders. Don't tell me that we cannot in hinterland communities train people to become welders, to become mechanics, to do construction. We can do it and we will do it.
He said a structured development program which will see every indigenous village benefit from basic services such as electricity and water is needed.
We are not talking idle here, because we showed when we were in government the last time, and we showed before 1992, that we did programs for the development of the people.
And the opposition leader also told those who gathered for his meeting that they must not just settle for handouts, since the government can now afford to sustainably develop their communities and provide quality jobs and more resources.
Purple Arts Productions presents A Treat for My Mother's 7 on Mother's Day Sunday, May 12. Sean Bullock, Bunny House, Charming Blackman, Ronald Green, and others. Golden jewelry for the best dressed mother in purple. 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Compliments of survival shopping complex. Simple Trading, Secure Innovations and Concept Inc. A Purple Art Theatre production, directed by Simone Dowding.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo. From its pristine rivers to its abundant resources, it's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect, and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true, or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Holiday spending put a dent in your cash. Top up your pockets in the Cash Splash promotion. Win over $5 million, including over $1 million in our weekly draws. Just purchase any Buster, Turbo, Fruita, Cool Kids, or Viva. Look for the 8-digit code starting with 786. Then visit Facebook or IG at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. Reuters in a report said Haitian police deployed tear gas to move people back from a security perimeter around the National Palace, while soldiers gripping rifles patrolled the international airport's diplomatic entrance on Tuesday, ahead of a planned change of government. The palace has come under repeated fire from gangs that have paralyzed the capital, Port-au-Prince. A 9-member presidential transition council is to be sworn in at the palace, and although no date has been announced, rumors circulated that it could happen this week. The council is expected to name an interim prime minister and help set up a government that will eventually organize elections in the Caribbean island nation. Meanwhile, the U.S. military said on Tuesday it bolstered defenses at its embassy. Outgoing Prime Minister Ariel Henry has for over a year called for international troops to help police fight the gangs, but plans moved slowly and were eventually paused when he announced in March his plan to step down, pending a new interim government. Since then, attacks have escalated and the transition has lagged. Venezuelan opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez said on Wednesday he's committed to carrying out a transition that will allow exiled people to return to the country and political prisoners to be freed. Gonzalez was named on Friday by the opposition coalition as its candidate in the July 28 presidential election after primary winner Maria Corina Machado was banned from office and her alternate was unable to register. The 74-year-old former diplomat will appear on the ballot in 3 opposition party slots, while President Nicolas Maduro, who has been in power for more than a decade, will appear for 13 different parties. More than 7 million people have left Venezuela in recent years, with most of them migrating to neighboring countries in Latin America. Though Maduro's government agreed to a prisoner swap deal with the U.S. in December, freeing dozens of Venezuelans as well as some Americans, opposition members and activists recently have been detained for what supporters say are unfounded reasons. And finally tonight, international news. President Joe Biden signed a hard-fought bill into law on Wednesday that provides billions of dollars of new U.S. aid to Ukraine for its war with Russia, notching a rare bipartisan victory for the president as he seeks re-election and ending months of wrangling with Republicans in Congress. The bill includes $61 billion in aid to Ukraine and $26 billion for Israel, as well as $1 billion in humanitarian assistance to Gaza and $8 billion to counter China's military might. The impact of the legislation was immediate. Biden said he had approved an initial $1 billion in weapons supplies for Ukraine and that the flow of these arms would start within hours. The initial aid package includes vehicles, air defense munitions, additional ammunition for high mobility artillery rocket systems, and other weapons that can immediately be put to use on the battlefield. Biden, a Democrat who is expected to face Republican former President Donald Trump in the November election, had pressed lawmakers for 6 months to approve more funding for Ukraine, which has been fighting a full-scale Russian invasion for more than 2 years. Trump objected to the Ukraine aid, and some Republicans in Congress refused to back it, questioning whether Ukraine could ever prevail. Biden thanked House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson, the top Republican in Washington, for breaking the deadlock on the legislation and vowed to return soon to addressing border security, a top issue for Republicans. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.